Good morning, Floss Tube. Happy day 7 of Flossmas. Welcome back. My name's Caroline, and it's time to open up day 7. But before we do that, let's have a chat about the floss for day 6, because yesterday, when I opened up Belsnickel, I described it as green, dark, dark green. And I had many messages from you saying you'd opened up your Belsnickel and it was brown, it wasn't green, and you were concerned that I had sent you the wrong floss. So I should let you know that my lighting upstairs is notoriously bad. It's artificial light, and the light in here as well is the same. But at least I'm downstairs by the front window. I've got the blinds open. So this is Belsnickel. And yes, it is a brown, but to me, it reads like a dark khaki brown. So what I've done is I've just grabbed a skein of brunette to put it next to it so that you can see how my eyes might have picked up that the Belsnickel tended more towards, you know, khaki kind of undertones. So that's Belsnickel on the left, brunette on the right. But this was all the same dye lot. We had one gigantic bin of floss. It all came from the same. So my Belsnickel is the same as yours. That is the color it's supposed to be. And as you can see, it fits beautifully. All right, let's open up day 7 and see what color we're adding in next. Poinsettia. Beautiful red. Deep dark red. And that's the color that we're going to be adding in for our day 7 chart. I hope you love it. Also, holy cow, there's a lot of stitching for day 7. So I better get started. Do you remember this little guy from last year's Flossmas? Still alive. We're not going to talk about the other two. His friends didn't make it. But so cute, right? Hanging in there. Also, look at this. This was handmade by my friend Neil. I talk about Neil all the time. Neil and Kathy owned my local needle workshop, Thread and I. Neil's been helping with sanding and staining of Hearthside, and in his free time, because he's been busily retired, he's been working with a scroll saw at home, and he made this ornament holder, and then he made this little extra ornament. Let me take that off so I can show you. I'm trying to do this one-handed. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? You made that. And then it fits inside this little holder with the cute little snowman. But let me show you what else he made. Okay, so look at this. Neil brought this candy dish that he had made the day before our last open house. In fact, it might have even been the day of the open house. And he and Kathy had brought a bag of chocolates and candy to put in it. And look at that. That's my E for Evertote. And he made that. He made this. So this sits on the front counter in our front showroom and is full of, well, at the moment it's not, but there'll be some candies in there on Saturday. Isn't it beautiful? Yeah, amazing. Such a kind gift. Speaking of gifts, I've had this one for a long time. That's my needle minder there. This was stitched for me by a viewer a few years ago named Colette. And This has sat on my desk, my work desk, every day since I received it. I use it every single day, and I love it. I think that is a Handmade kit. Came with the charm, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Every time I show this, somebody will jump in and remind me who did that pattern. And then Colette pieced a 9-patch together, sorry, 12-patch, and quilted it into this little mug rug. I love it. One of my favorite things. Oh, you guys, the emails, the messages. Belsnickel. Belsnickel was a real bell ringer for us today. Boy, howdy. You saw it as brown. You were hoping it was green because I said in my video yesterday it was green. So Hannah has had to write a few emails today. We've had some emails and messages and direct messages coming into the shop. Lots of them, lots of comments, lots of everything. So Hannah is going to give us a dramatic reading for you. A dramatic reading all about Belsnickel. And then when she's done the dramatic reading all about Belsnickel, she's going to actually tell you all about what a Belsnickel is. Who Belsnickel is.
Hoomst.
Hoomst? Hoomst. Okay,
So, here's the thing with Belsnickel. Seems that every single person has a different idea of what the Belsnickel floss is. Is it green? Is it brown? It's kind of like that dress. Is it gold and white? Is blue and black? Remember that? Same kind of deal. So, the thing that's really important to know is that the lighting here in the office for us is super, super warm and super, super yellow.
very yellow. I'm too cheap to change the light bulbs.
So what that means is that anything that has even like a remotely green undertone to it is going to look green. We have tons of linen here, for example, that it's intended to be neutral, and then we'll bring it in the light here and it looks green. It's
True.
just anything that has even remotely like the slightest tinge of green is going to look green in this lighting. So sort of a story about the Belsnickel floss actually is when we were putting together the palette for this thing that we are doing that is so lovely so far, is that we needed a brown. And so we decided, well, why don't we do a dark brown that sort of plays with the undertones of the Tannenbaum floss that you got on day one. So that's why it sort of looks green, sort of looks brown, because it really is technically, it is both.
It's mostly brown. But,
mostly brown.
But in my light here in the workshop, it picks up all the green, and I was in a rush talking about the floss yesterday, and I frankly didn't think to talk about how it was brown, like how we needed a brown. Because to me, I read it as a dark, dark, dark khaki brown.
And so then the other thing is that...
Sorry for interrupting.
I promise, and Caroline promises, and everybody here, we promise that every single one of you got exactly the same color.
Yep.
Exactly the same. There were no differences. They were all brought in together. We packaged them all.
We had a big bucket of Belsnickel.
We had a big bucket of Belsnickel. And it was all matching. If there was something where like a dye lot was so wildly, completely different, we wouldn't have sent it out.
No.
Like it was, they were all consistently the same. So rest assured, you've gotten the right floss.
It's just, I did a poor job of describing it yesterday.
Womp womp. That's just another thing to note as well, is that what you see on your screen is never going to be an accurate representation of what you see when you stitch, because of things like screen resolution, the way that the camera picks up lighting, the lighting in the room, honestly, like even sometimes the sunlight. I prefer to take my photographs for listings in the morning because the floss looks better than it does in the evening. It's just a thing where what you see on your screen is never ever going to look the same as what it is in person.
That's why you should all really try to come to the open house.
Yes, definitely come to the open house, and then you can see everything in person and be like, oh, I didn't realize that color
Belsnickel is this color.
This color. But yeah, so don't worry about the Belsnickel floss. You got exactly what you were intended to get. It's gonna look great with all the colors you already have and all the colors that you're about to get, I promise.
Yeah. We're sorry if you were disappointed that I told you it was dark green and you didn't see it as dark green. I'm really sorry. But it's a beautiful floss, promise. Well, I'm telling you, it's a beautiful floss.
No, I love the
Yeah,
Belsnickel color. It's really awesome. So about the name Belsnickel though, because a couple people have been like, what even is a Belsnickel? So I am the sort of person who I name a lot of the floss colors, and I like to sort of get research and inspiration from a bunch of different things. So when I was working on the names for a lot of the flosses for this, is I was watching a lot of Christmas movies. And I was watching all sorts of Christmas movies from all over the world. So Belsnickel as a character traditionally is from the Palatinate region of southwest Germany. And he's a fur-covered guy who brings presents to good children, but then will punish the children that are not so good. So, you know, like similar Christmas tropes, like are you naughty or nice? Belsnickel is one of the sort of Santa's helpers that helps enforce those things. And you know what? Fur-covered guy, brown, perfect. I hope this all makes sense, and I hope that you enjoy the rest of your holiday countdown, and I will see you in a video in a few more days. Yay!
Thank you, Hannah.